All right, so getting to the question. So I'm just going to paraphrase the question and understanding, and that is that in general, and Dear Starshine, of course, let me know if the way I have that is resonating for you. The question was around the noticing the significant juxtaposition between harmonic energies and disharmonic energies. And I don't mean like recognizing, oh, that's disharmonic. It's really about being aware of what is harmonic for you particularly, and versus being aware of what is disharmonic for you. So I love this way of speaking because it's beyond the good, bad, right, wrong polarity. It's more of frequency matching, harmony. Where's the harmony at? And she was trying to put her finger on the sense that the things that are disharmonic are really maybe exaggerated or bringing a strong awareness that even more discernment needs to be like heightened discernment. Like, now, maybe you limited your exposure to this disharmonic energy. Now, instead of just limiting it, maybe completely just cut it out all the way. You know what I mean? It's like there's this leveling up that's going on. And the leveling up means we need to hold our energy with stronger integrity, as in the compromising is the bar for that is completely changed. It's not the same. It's not the same maybe it was yesterday, the day before, last year, or 2 years ago, whatever. You know, it's like how it was is not how it is now, and there's lots of things to explain to set up this perception that I'm talking about, and so I'm going to do the best that I can about this, because this is a subtle awareness. So going into nesting dolls. All right, so back in the day, these chats used to be activations according to the practice taught by Barbara Hanclau, where I would do 9-dimensional activations. Now, there are more dimensions than that, and that particular model that Barbara teaches is actually the model of the control system, believe it or not. I mean, this is something I realized later. Not that I think that there's anything wrong with learning how to work that system, but there are some key truths within that particular system. So before I get into the key truths, I just want to point out why I recognize as part of the control system. And that is that the last I heard from her, this was several years ago, things may have changed since then. I really haven't been paying attention to other people's teachings around that in that way. But what it is that she finally realized and was able to logically argue to prove that our biosuits are 11th dimensional. Okay, our brains specifically are 11th dimensional. And that realization that she had, and I didn't go through and actually she didn't show up for that talk that she was going to explain the the layout of how it's provable, but that was the door to open the door to my understanding. Sorry, when I go altered, I start talking backwards. Is that this is the actual control system that is what it looks like. And so it was that 11th dimensional piece that she talked about, and the fact that the model talks about the center of the Milky Way galaxy being a black hole. Okay, so those things put together is what started to frame up in my awareness that, oh my gosh, this is why these teachings were so important for the Pleiadians to bring forward, was because we needed to recognize just how deep the rabbit hole goes to the control system, okay? And when I talk about control system, this is where I start going into the ideas of the interdimensional, multidimensional empire system, okay? So this is Galactic Federation. This is the hierarchy of the empire, right? Now, good, bad, right, or wrong, doesn't matter. It's like, does it resonate to be in that system or not? For me, I am very deeply connected into the cosmic mother force. And cosmic mother has no control systems. It's just flow of energy. It's just the freedom of being. It's the activation of what some might call the Christos consciousness. I don't like that term either, but it's used a lot to something that summarizes what I feel like is the higher truth for me. And this is where you start getting into the different cat people races. This is where you start getting into the races that seeded, whose DNA has been seeded within our particular race, that go beyond the confines of the galactic mind, the Milky Way galaxy. Okay, I know this is way out there, but this is all has to frame up with what she's talking about. And this is why it's so important that we pay close attention to this piece. When we have something in our face that we have aversions to, or difficulty with, or something that just keeps showing itself over and over again, and we're not getting to why. Okay, this is what I'm speaking to, the layers of this. So the DNA seeding of beings that were beyond the galactic mind, beyond the Milky Way, are also getting activated within us, which means we are waking up beyond the control systems and into cosmic awareness. And this is also where dragon energies come in. Intact, healed, whole dragon energies are coming from. There are still a lot of mutilated and dismemberment in the dragon consciousness that is in that control system, but I'm talking about the holistic oneness ones, the ones that have been that are whole, both in their integrity of being in from head to tail intact, but then also united with its counterparts. So male, female is a way to explain that. So that has woken us up to these cosmic levels that are beyond empire, which is beyond the actual system that she taught. Okay. Again, I love Barbara. I love her work. She's amazing. There's not a single thing that she's ever put out there where I wasn't completely activated by, and I'm sure many of you have shared in that experience. She is a way shower of many generations of multidimensional beings on this planet. That's the simplest way to say it. But this system was important for us to learn, so we can, because it gives us a foundation to bounce out of it, to expand beyond it. Okay, so when the finite system of life force energy, the top of the ladder of the dimensional nesting dolls is what we might refer to as 12D. And the liberated, free-flowing, non-domesticated by empire levels of consciousness go to all right, so the outer nesting doll is 14, and then it starts over again, and this can go out exponentially to many hundreds of dimensions. Okay, but the point is that the threshold of expansion beyond the who you think you are is at that 14 dimensional level. Okay, and yes, there are ideas of who we think we are at that cosmic level. Some have suggested calling it ego, cosmic ego. I don't necessarily like that term. It doesn't feel quite right for me, but that's the idea. So I'm not the only one that's sharing this, that has these thoughts. So that frame up, that this nesting doll reality is true, whether you're in the control system or not. And there are some baseline truths to this nesting doll reality. And for example, cymatics, sound creates shape. Sound creates form. Okay, that is a deeper truth, that no matter what kind of what form of that reality you're in, that is a baseline. Everything is created from this river of life force energy, and we create whatever we want with this river of life force energy. And we can create beautiful things, or we can create horrific things, or a spectrum in between. It's completely up to us, because of the depth of love we're held in by our own creator source. Okay, so I'm describing these nesting dolls and how they work. And of course, there's frequencies that are baseline frequencies to these different holographic experiences. And so that's where things like scalar energy comes in. And we can revisit the baseline frequencies of these realities to reset things and unplug from different programs that are deeply seated in our subconscious. And particularly when we're talking about frame-ups that keep us in a particular angle to reality where we're not able to get to the right question to actually realize what we need to realize to free ourselves from a particular dynamic. And this is one of the quotes that we put out in our in social media that our dear sister Laurel loves to use, and that is that there is something that we do not know that which will change everything. Okay, the reason why we get in a loop and with our intuitive senses and we're not able to get to that one thing that would change everything is because of the frame up. We're not able to get to the right question, okay? When we're kept from being able to ask the right question I'm just talking about energies that resist us getting there, then that's something that's going to keep us in the loop. So this is why we want, and this is why we track in groups, that we want multiple perceptions of something so we can loosen up our frame up of how we think it is. This is why it's so important to get to know the argument or get to know the perspective that's very different than yours. Not that you need to take it in, but it's really so you can feel what's happening inside of you when you're experiencing a perspective that's different than yours, because that is going to show you how attached or not attached you are to your frame up. Okay, I know, bear with me. I just need to set these pieces up to get to the point. All right. So we have the way we see things and how we think things are. And then we have our feelings about how we think things are. And then we have our feelings about the unknown. So if you want to test yourself to see, because, we can tell ourselves, oh yeah, I'm good about the unknown. But here's the thing, the stories that we tell ourselves about ourselves, I can tell you 99.9% of the time are not true. Because it's all in a frame up, okay? Because we want to think inside we might be hard about ourselves, but when we're telling ourselves stories about ourselves, we are enforcing an idea of who we think we are, okay? So maybe we want to think that we're enlightened, or maybe we want to think that we're evolved or multidimensional or fully awakened, or we want to imagine that we are truly sovereign. But here's the thing, these are all rabbit holes that don't have any ending to them. It's that infinite onion. So we can't necessarily believe the stories we tell about ourselves, okay? This is important. And if you want to truly test yourself on how you are about going into the unknown, so, get outside the story and actually say, okay, yeah, I'm curious. How am I truly when I'm faced with the unknown, okay? And the way to give yourself a litmus test is to engage with somebody that has a completely different view than you about something, okay? That is going to show you how strongly you have attachments to your frame-ups to reality. Now, I'm not saying we need to make an enemy out of our ego driver. That's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we have certain attitudes, frame-ups, programmings, all this stuff going on in our subconscious is that we really, truly can't know until it's presenting itself in front of us, okay? And I know thyself is something that is a game changer in your personal journey, but understand, know thyself is a frame-up of an attitude. It is not a destination, okay?